What is going on, guys? Welcome to today's live stream. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Today we got a live training rather than the usual Q&A. So today's going to be all about supplements. Supplements 101, what supplements I recommend taking, what supplements to avoid, what supplements are a waste of money, and all that. So basically a supplements 101 training. We're just going to wait for some more people to tune in here, and then we'll hop straight into it. So this will be the last live stream of 2021. Obviously next week is Christmas, so we're taking the week off there. And then I guess the next Sunday after that is into 2021. So today's, again, guys, everyone tuning in, it's going to be a live training on supplements, everything you guys need to know. Obviously that was the top voted option in the poll that I ran yesterday. So it's going to be really everything, all the supplements I recommend taking, all the supplements I recommend avoid using, supplements that are a waste of money, and so on and so forth. So we'll start here in just a sec. For everyone that participated in this week's weekly challenge, phenomenal job. We had a few of you guys log over 100,000 steps, which is absolutely insane. So I will be tallying that after this live stream, and then obviously announcing the winner for that challenge, this week's challenge, this evening at 8 p.m. PST. Then obviously a new challenge begins tomorrow morning as usual at 8 a.m. PST. So we'll get started here in just a minute or so. For everyone tuning in, I do have one major announcement for next week, so you guys will be the first ones to know. Obviously, you guys are watching this. I just got sponsored by MeisterBody, so it's kind of fitting that we're doing a live training on supplements, and my new sponsor is a supplement company. So for those of you guys have probably heard of MeisterBody before. They are one of the biggest protein companies, at least in Europe, and massive in the States and obviously in Canada. So just got sponsored by them this week. Like I mentioned, I will be making an announcement next week. So obviously you guys are the first to know, everyone watching this live stream and obviously everyone watching the replay. So what that means, guys, is awesome, because that will give me a 45% off discount off all supplements for you guys. So I am working on the code. It should be available probably tomorrow, which is awesome. 45% off. I was absolutely shocked when I saw that, because that's a huge, usually it's like 15%, 10, 15, 15%, but 45% off, guys. So all the supplements you guys will need will be covered, obviously at a massive discount. So the code will be available probably tomorrow. I'll make an announcement for that. And yeah, so that is it's kind of fitting that we're doing a supplement training. Dave Dickey, I know you you wanted this one, so this one's glad that you're here. But yeah, so that's a major announcement there. Super stoked to announce that. And obviously you guys will have first access to that as well. So again, I'll make a full-on announcement in the community probably tomorrow, and then on my social medias probably later next week. So guys, let's hop straight into it. Like I mentioned, today is going to be a live training. I haven't done one of these in a while, on supplements 101. So what supplements I recommend, what supplements to avoid, and what supplements are just quite frankly a complete waste of money. Okay, so this seems to be a hot topic, was the highest voted option in the poll that I ran yesterday, so that's what we're going to be doing today. And before we get into it, like I mentioned, any questions, any struggles, any concerns you guys have in your programs, now is your opportunity to ask them if you want a live answer. Like I said, next week's Christmas, so there's not going to be any live stream next week. So if you have any questions or anything like that, drop them down below, and then we'll go over all of that at the end of the live stream. Okay, so guys, let's hop straight into it. Supplements 101. I have kind of a pre-planned a few things I want to touch on. We'll go over 5 supplements first that I recommend to avoid, that are in my opinion a waste of money and that don't really do much, and are more so kind of marketing supplements that just have a lot of hype around them, but again don't really benefit you that much. Then we'll go over 5 supplements that I do recommend at the very end, and then obviously any questions that you guys have, we'll go over after that as well. So we'll start off with the supplements that I recommend to avoid, the supplements that are a waste of money. First one, probably one of the most common ones, is BCAAs, okay? Branch chain amino acids, okay? The reason why this supplement has so much hype around it. I remember when I first started lifting, I thought I had to take this in order to like maximize my gains or whatever it is. But absolutely, you guys do not need BCAAs. Like 99% of you guys do not need these. The only time I would ever recommend BCAAs is when you are like prepping for a show. When you are super lean, like well below sub 10% body fat. But besides that, as long as you're hitting enough protein, and you'll notice the theme of this live stream, guys, will be, a lot of it will be with your diet. If your diet's on point, you pretty much don't need any supplements, to be honest. Okay, supplements are there to kind of supplement your diet, right? Your diet should be your main focus. That is the fundamental, the corner piece of kind of your fat loss journey or your muscle building journey. So you got to nail that down first. That is the most important thing, okay, your diet. Supplements, again, are kind of fill those gaps, those areas where you're kind of, where your diet's kind of lagging. And so obviously with BCAAs, as long as you guys are hitting the protein targets I set for you, there's no need for BCAAs, okay? It's kind of overkill. As long as you're getting enough protein, it's not gonna do anything additional beyond, again, your diet, okay? So as long as you're hitting the protein targets that I set for you, BCAAs are pretty much useless. They're not going to do anything for you. Again, the only time I'd ever recommend BCAAs are when you are prepping for a competition or are super, super lean. That's actually when you can benefit from taking BCAAs, so you don't further risk losing muscle mass, obviously, when you're that lean, okay? Next one that I don't recommend, and that seems to also have a lot of, especially in the last couple of years, of hype in the fitness industry is testosterone boosters, okay? Testosterone boosters, complete waste of money, absolute garbage supplement. It's not gonna raise your testosterone by taking some pill. So how it works, okay? If you guys want to raise your testosterone naturally, again, it goes back to the fundamentals, making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure your diet's on point. That's where you derive, that's where you can increase a lot more testosterone than taking some pill with random ingredients, okay? So there's been a lot of studies around this in the last couple of years as well. Testosterone boosters are basically just a pure marketing hype supplement, and again, that do not raise your testosterone pretty much whatsoever. So focus again on the fundamentals, making sure you're getting enough sleep, 7 hours minimum. I'd recommend. If you can get 8, even better. And then obviously making sure your diet's on point, getting enough micronutrients and getting enough protein and so on and so forth, okay? The next one, this is one that I used to take when I first started lifting, because I thought I had to, because obviously when I started I was really skinny and I wanted to get as big as possible, okay? So this next one is mass gainers, okay? Mass gainers, do not take them. Again, complete waste of money. Garbage supplement in my opinion, because it is extremely synthetic, okay? You're basically getting empty calories, very little nutritional value and these shakes are like 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 calorie shakes of just sugar and synthetic garbage, okay? So again, it goes back to diet. As long as you're getting your diet in check, you do not need mass gainers, okay? If you're someone like me that struggled getting the necessary calories in to actually grow because you're burning a lot of calories or maybe have a really fast metabolism, whatever the case may be, again, making sure you're optimizing your diet via start including more more calorically dense foods like avocados, like oils, like coconuts, almonds, any nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashews, peanuts, Brazilian nuts. These are probably one of the best sources of calories you can have, extremely calorically dense. For example, like 100 grams of almonds or walnuts is like 500-600 calories. So you're getting like 5x of what you're eating in terms of volume, right? So that's the key. If you're someone that's a hard gainer, if you're someone that's skinny and you want to gain muscle, you want to gain weight, and you struggle getting the calories in, switching your food choices from your regular foods to more calorically dense, less volume foods, right? Like I just said, nuts are probably one my go-to. Avocados are great. Coconuts, dates, obviously fattier sources of meat, fish. So instead of a chicken breast, which is like no fat, no carbs, maybe have a chicken thigh, okay? Or maybe instead of tuna, have salmon, right? Or fatty fish, oily fishes, stuff like that. Again, same volume, but much, much more calorically dense, making it a lot easier to get those calories in, okay? So again, do not take mass gainers. in my opinion, complete waste of money, and they're very bad for you in terms of because it has so many synthetic ingredients, a lot of sugar, and just causes a lot of unnecessary inflammation in your body, which obviously you can avoid by getting the same amount of calories from real good food with a lot of nutritional benefits, okay? The next one, this is a massive one as well, probably might be the biggest one in this list actually, is fat burners, okay? Fat burners, complete waste of money. Again, fat burners do not burn fat by itself, okay? The reason why fat burners may work is because fat burners are usually loaded with caffeine or stimulants, green tea extracts, coffee, whatever it is, or a blend of everything. The reason why fat burners may work is because all of those are appetite suppressants, okay? Caffeine, if you didn't know, suppresses your appetite. You have a coffee, you don't feel hungry, or at least as hungry afterwards, okay? So again, the reason why those work isn't because those fat burner pills are actually burning fat, is because those fat burners are loaded with caffeine, which lowers your appetite, which causes you to eat less food, less calories, and then therefore, as kind of a downstream effect, you're losing weight or burning fat because again, you're not eating as many calories, okay? Fat loss is strictly down to calories in versus calories out. So if you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight no matter what. And so fat burners, again, indirectly can help that because it's loaded with caffeine, it's loaded with stimulants, which then lowers your appetite and then which causes you to eat less calories, which then puts you in a calorie deficit needed in order to lose fat, okay? But again, by itself, fat burners do not burn fat, okay? The next one, beta alanine. So a while ago, I think maybe 2-3 months ago, I did a training on pre-workouts, kind of like an in-depth scientific training on how to read pre-workout labels, because most people, like I would say 95% of people, if not more, have a pre-workout and they have no idea what the ingredients do, what to look for, what ingredients are good, what ingredients are bad, how to generally read a pre-workout label. So I did a full-on training on this. If you wanna get the full-on training, the full-on science explanation on pre-workouts specifically, I'd recommend in the group, you'll see on the right side there's a hashtag live trainings where I have all the live trainings, and one of them is a pre-workout, how to read pre-workouts. So I'd recommend reading that. But with beta alanine specifically, so if you didn't know, beta alanine is thrown into a ton, almost every single pre-workout, because it makes you feel like the pre-workout is working. So a lot of supplement companies will add this into their pre-workouts mix because again, it makes you feel like their product is working. So you keep buying it, right? The reason why it does this is because beta alanine is responsible for that tingly feeling, that redness on your face. So it kind of, again, makes you feel like that product is working, but in actuality, it gives you almost no performance enhancing effect in the gym, okay? For beta alanine to actually have a performance enhancing effect in the gym, you would need a crazy dose. Like I think it's like somewhere around 270 grams of beta alanine in your system, in your bloodstream, okay? And most pre-workouts have like 1 or 2. And obviously you can pretty much never get to that threshold because after like 2, 3, 4 grams, you're already getting like very itchy, your face is very red. So I would never even recommend trying to hit that threshold. So again, this is a kind of a tricky ingredient because most pre-workouts have it, but just know that it is not responsible for increasing performance in the gym. It's more so used as a masking agent in most cheap pre-workouts. For example, C4 is really bad for this, and they're probably one of the biggest pre-workout companies, unfortunately. They just toss all these cheap ingredients that, again, make it feel like the product is working. So you keep buying it, so you keep using it. But in actuality, it's probably the caffeine is usually like the only actual ingredients in those pre's that are actually making a difference in your performance in the gym. But again, beta alanine more so used as a masking agent. So if the primary active ingredient in a pre-workout is beta alanine, I would avoid this. For example, Cellucor. C4, I know for a fact they're probably one of the biggest pre-workout brands, and I used to have them like for years. There's loaded with masking agents. So again, I would definitely recommend avoiding that if that is the main ingredient in your pre-workout. Now we'll hop over into the four. I wrote down 4 supplements that I do recommend. Before we go into that, if you guys with the pre-workout thing I just touched on, so again, beta alanine, try to avoid that in pre-workouts. The ones that you want to look for, the best one is L-citrulline. Okay. L-citrulline is the most potent vasodilator, which means it opens up your blood vessels. You get way more blood flow into the muscle, which yields a much bigger pump. Okay, L-citrulline, that is one of the best ingredients in pre-workouts, but it's also one of the most expensive. So usually what pre-workout brands do, again, is they add a very a small amount of citrulline and then just add a ton of beta alanine. So again, if you have no idea how to read these labels, it seems like, oh, it has a lot of ingredients, it must be a good product. But again, you have to kind of look at the quantities and actually know how to read pre-workout labels. But I'm not going to go too much into the pre-workout itself. Again, if you want to know everything about pre-workouts, how to read them, what to look for, all that stuff, I did a full on training on just pre-workout, how to read pre-workout labels. So you can find that by searching in this group. Just go hashtag pre-workout live training. It's also in the live training hashtag on the side there. So now, guys, we'll go over I wrote down 4 supplements that I do recommend and that can actually make a difference in your progress when it comes to either fat loss or building muscle or just performance in the gym. Okay. So before that, guys, any questions that come in, any questions that you guys can think of during this training, with supplements that I don't recommend or do recommend, just drop them down below. I'll go over these next 4 supplements that I do recommend, and then we'll go over all the questions at the very end that you guys have, okay? So the first supplement that I do recommend is, again, you don't need this if your diet is in check, but again, most people aren't getting enough of this, and that is protein powder, okay? Protein is so important, okay, guys? It's not just used to build muscle. It serves so many functions in your body, including your immune system, cell turnover, cell repair, obviously building muscle, and there's just so much downstream cascading effects of adequate protein that most people aren't even aware of. Okay. Obviously I have you guys as a certain protein target, but outside of this group, most people are not getting nearly enough protein in their diet. Okay. And so this is obviously a big problem because most of their diet is comprised of carbs and fats. And in terms of maximizing and optimizing your body composition, you need a higher protein diet. Okay. So again, most people don't get enough protein, and I get it. It can be hard. For me, I eat 225 grams of protein per day. And for some people, it's like, oh my God, so much protein. How do you possibly get that? Like, you must be eating 5 chicken breasts a day, right? It's very easy when every meal in the day is centered around like a protein source, a protein base, right? So for me, every meal has 40-50 grams of protein. And so it's very easy to hit that 225 gram threshold throughout the day. But guys, if you're someone that struggles to get your protein in, or maybe you don't want to cook, or maybe you just want like easier snacks on the go, then protein powder can be so easy. Okay, literally 2 scoops of protein, boom, 40-50 grams right there in one shake. Okay, for me personally, what I do, have a couple protein, 2 protein scoops, toss in the blender, add some fruit, add some almond milk, and make like a smoothie. I prefer smoothies over protein shakes because I don't like that like milky kind of drink. I'd rather just have like an actual smoothie with fruit and almond milk. Okay, so again, super easy way. If you guys are struggling getting your protein in, to have a protein shake a day, literally 2 scoops, boom, 40-50 grams, easy. Okay, and most of you guys are not needing as much protein as I do. Obviously, I'm a little bit heavier, so most of you guys are probably within 120 to 180 grams of protein per day. Dave had a really good question. So he just said, for protein, does it matter whey, vegan, or casein? I have been adding liquid egg whites to whey isolate. Isolate has been easier on the stomach for me. So I'm actually glad they brought that up because this is a big question as well. And that in terms of like bloating, a lot of people experience some sort of bloat when they have protein shakes. And again, that really depends on how sensitive you are to dairy, obviously. So if that is you, for me, I have a minor effect with this. I do see some like a very minor bloating when I have 2 scoops of whey protein. So for me as well, I usually have isolate. The reason why isolate is better than whey in terms of bloating is because it's leaner. It's a leaner version of a whey. So it's a higher protein concentration than whey is, okay? Whey has more dairy, isolate's much thinner, much leaner. So whey doesn't have isolate doesn't have nearly as much dairy, if at all, compared to whey. So if you are sensitive to dairy, if you want to avoid the bloat, I would recommend switching from whey to isolate. Again, isolate's much leaner. You're not going to get nearly as much bloat as whey. And if you're someone that's vegetarian, vegan, whatever, or you don't want to have a whey in general, then just vegan, I definitely recommend, is the easiest on your stomach. You'll get no bloat at all. Obviously, zero dairy in there. So vegan, I actually do enjoy vegan protein powder. Is probably the only vegan product I actually have, because again, it is so light on my stomach. The only issue typically with vegan protein powders is the taste. It's very chalky, and it's just like goop in your protein, in your shaker, right? So when I have vegan protein powder, I always make sure to have like a smoothie where I toss in the blender, it's properly blended, so you don't get like goopy, like thicker pieces in your drink, which is kind of gross. And then I add some fruit and again almond milk to make it nice, like a nice smoothie. Okay, so great question there, Dave. In terms of casein, casein isn't. I used to think it was a bigger deal as well. The difference with casein versus whey versus isolate is casein is just a slower releasing protein. So again, doesn't really make too much of a difference if you're getting enough protein in general throughout the day. If you're someone that has like maybe 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, then I would consider throwing a casein in there, just so you have a constant kind of amino acid flow in your bloodstream. But other than that, if you have a regular diet, if you're eating enough protein, then there's really no need for casein at all, because food usually takes about 8 to 10, 12 hours to fully digest anyway. For example, eggs take 8-10 hours to digest. So great question there, Dave, in terms of protein powders. The next supplement that I'd recommend is creatine monohydrate. Okay, so this is super basic 1 ingredient product. You don't need the fancy creatine HCl or the creatine whatever variants there are nowadays. Creatine monohydrate is all you need. Every other variation is just a marketing product again. And creatine, guys, creatine monohydrate specifically is probably the most researched supplements on the market. Okay, heavily researched. It's been around for decades, and it actually has legitimate performance enhancing effects. Okay, and beyond just the gym stuff, beyond just like building muscle and losing fat, it actually is great for neurological health. So I actually learned this recently, probably in the last year. It is great for neurological health, brain protection. So it serves beyond just obviously building muscle, maximizing hypertrophy. Okay, creatine is found naturally in foods. The foods that have the most of it is steak, beef, but again, at such low quantities that your body can't actually use like a full efficacious dose of it to yield any sort of performance enhancing effects from it. So that's why it's good to supplement creatine. All you need for most people is 5 grams. Girls, 3 grams should be more than enough. But once you've kind of reached saturation, so I would recommend kind of doing a loading for like 1 week, do 15-20 grams for 1 week, just so you hit saturation levels. Once you're at saturation, again, 3-5 grams, depending if you're a girl or guy, is all you need to maintain from that. And then some of the benefits you can expect from that is nothing crazy. It's obviously not like steroid type effects, but it will make a marginal difference in your performance. Again, some people respond better to creatine than others, and that's just due to genetic differences in people. So again, some people will get really good response from it. Most people get average response from it. And then some people get no response from it. So you kind of have to test yourself and see where you are on that spectrum. But in general, you will expect a 5-10% increase in your muscle endurance in the gym. So you might be able to grind out a couple more reps, maybe a couple more sets. You will be slightly stronger as well. And the biggest benefit of creatine monohydrate is it's stored inside the muscles. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, actually, before we go into the benefits of it, when you lift a heavy weight, creatine phosphate is the first source of energy your body uses to lift that weight. Okay, once that is done, once that's depleted, then it goes into glycogen via carbs. Okay, so creatine is actually your first source of energy. Again, most people have like no creatine stores in their body, so they're basically switching right away into glycogen via carbohydrates. Okay, so creatine again is stored inside the muscle. Your muscles use it to lift like really fast, heavy weight. Be powerful, and then it stores the water inside the muscle. So a lot of people think that you get bloated from creatine. Not the case at all. It is again stored inside the muscle. So the water is pulled in the muscle. It's going to be stored inside the actual muscle fibers and kind of making the muscle fuller, rounder. Okay, so again, it's not going to be stored underneath the skin, so you're not going to get bloated from it. I promise you, it's going to be all within the actual muscle, the muscle fiber cells themselves. So that's creatine monohydrate. Again, one ingredient, and it doesn't really matter where you get this from because again, it's just a single ingredient. So as long as you're not getting any creatine HCl or creatine any variations of that, then you should be good to go. You know, you're getting the real thing. It is also a very cheap product to buy as well. The next one is one you don't. I would recommend occasionally. You definitely do not need this every single day. And actually, I recommend that you don't have this every single day, is pre-workout. Okay, so be careful with this one, guys. Pre-workout, I would recommend to save for days that you just aren't feeling it. You're super tired. Maybe you have a big session ahead of you. Maybe a massive leg day, for example, for me. Or maybe a big pull session. But again, don't have this every single day of the week because again, your body will build a tolerance to it and you have to have more and more and more, right? So if you do take pre-workout a lot, for me, I probably take it more than I should. But then if you're someone that takes it most workouts, then I would recommend doing just kind of every couple months, take a full week off and don't have any pre-workout at all, just so you kind of reset your tolerance to it, okay? But with pre-workout, again, if you want to, I did a full-on training on pre-workout, so if you want to watch that, again, like I mentioned earlier, it is in the live training section. But with pre-workout, again, it can be awesome if you are having an off day, very tired, or maybe you just need a bit of a kick to get you going. It can be awesome in terms of maximizing pumps. Obviously, most of them have caffeine in them, so obviously you'll get a stimulant kind of effect from that. And again, it can help you get a better workout in, but again, I would recommend trying your best not to become dependent on it and taking a full week off every once in a while if you are someone that takes pre-workout a lot, okay? Some of the pre-workouts that I recommend that I have right now are, my favorite is Gorilla Mind. So guys, just because I'm sponsored by MyProtein, I'll still give you how it is. In my opinion, Gorilla Mind is the best pre-workout that I've tried. I've tried a lot of pre's, okay? Gorilla Mind for me is the best. It has the maxed out efficacious doses of the best active ingredients. For example, L-citrulline, has no beta-alanine, has no masking agents, and it is a legit product, and it's pretty new. So there was a gap for a long time with pre-workouts with kind of a product that has the max efficacious active ingredients, the best kind of bang for your buck products. So Gorilla Mind kind of filled that spot, and they've been exploding in the last couple of years. So that's my go-to. MyProtein does have a great pre-workout as well, or Ghost. So those are kind of my top three: is Gorilla Mode, MyProtein, and Ghost Lifestyle. So those are the three I've been using the last few years with pre-workouts. All right, the last supplements that I recommend, again, you don't need this if your diet is in check. So kind of like I mentioned earlier, the theme of this live stream is if your diet's in check, you pretty much don't need any supplement, maybe besides creatine, because you can't really get enough creatine from your diet. But for the most part, almost all of these you will get enough of if you're getting enough protein, if you're getting enough micronutrients from a proper, well-balanced diet, okay? However, most people, again, are deficient in some of these. So I would recommend either a multivitamin, or if you know you're deficient in a certain vitamin or mineral, then obviously supplementing with whatever that is. For me, I live in Canada. We get like no sun, so I need a vitamin D, even though I get a lot of vitamin D from my foods. I just need more because obviously I'm getting like no sun exposure in the day. So if you live in a cold place, if you live in the UK, if you live in Canada, if you live in like northern US, then vitamin D, most people are deficient in. I also find vitamin B is a big one in terms of common deficiencies, okay? Especially for you vegans out there, especially for you vegetarians out there. It is extremely hard to get sufficient B vitamins, the whole complex, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B12, from a vegetarian or vegan diet, because those are mostly found in meats and seafood, stuff like that. Okay, so I would recommend it. Obviously, it's ideal if you know what you're deficient in, so you can just kind of supplement with whatever you're deficient in. And if you guys want to know kind of what you're deficient in, there's two kind of ways to go. But around that, one, obviously, kind of get blood work and see where you're lacking. I'm actually going to be doing this in the next couple of weeks. I want to kind of see what my blood levels are at. But another way is obviously just with your food tracking. So I've been using Chronometer. I just did a video on this on YouTube. If you guys want to check that out. So typically, I would just use MyFitnessPal, super easy. But the problem with MyFitnessPal is it usually only tracks calories and macros, which is what you need for building muscle or losing fat, but it's not so great at tracking micronutrients. So I've been using Chronometer. It is the exact same as MyFitnessPal. Does everything, tracking calories, macros, everything the exact same, but with the added benefits of micronutrient analysis as well. And the tracking and analysis you get with micronutrients in that app is just phenomenal, okay? It gives you a lot of data. It gives you a lot of graphs. It shows you exactly what you're deficient in. It shows you how much of each vitamin you get. So it is very, very good for that. And so I've been using that the last couple of years as well. And that can help you kind of get a ballpark estimate of which vitamins you need more of, which minerals you're lacking, because at the end of the day, obviously vitamin deficiencies can yield a lot of issues. And obviously you want to kind of take care of your health as well, right? So for the most part, most people I would say are definitely deficient in a few vitamins. Vitamin D, vitamin B are probably the most common ones. Magnesium is usually another big one, electrolyte as well. So I would recommend, again, ideally if you know what you're deficient in, supplement with whatever you're deficient in. For example, vitamin B complex, a vitamin D, or if you don't, then obviously just a multivitamin usually kind of has the full range spectrum of obviously every vitamin and every mineral, just making sure you're getting a good quality one there. So guys, that pretty much rounds off the training. Kind of 5 supplements I would recommend avoiding: BCAAs, testosterone boosters, mass gainers, fat burners, and beta alanine. These are garbage products. I would recommend to avoid these. It's a waste of money, and that will yield pretty much very minimal to no benefits to your health or your gains or your fat loss journey, whatever your goals are. 4 that I would recommend: protein powder, creatine monohydrate, pre-workouts sometimes, and a multivitamin or any vitamin or mineral that you know that you are deficient in, okay? So that, guys, that pretty much rounds off the live stream. Any questions that you guys have on this training, or any questions that you have in general regarding supplements or vitamins or anything in that spectrum, those are wireless connections. So hopefully you guys, I'm still on. But for those of you guys that just tuned in, I just got sponsored by MyProtein, so massive company there. Literally the other day. So I will be making announcements in the community probably tomorrow, and then on my social media later this week. But the guys, gives me a huge discount on supplements, 45% off, and which is massive because usually it's only like 15%. So 45% off anything on the site through my code. Again, I'll be making a full announcement post on this tomorrow, which obviously you guys can use. Also have like a banner inside the MeisterBody Academy app, so you guys can easily just shop through there. Should you need any supplements or anytime you want to shop for your stuff, just go through that link, and that's a kind of a way of helping me out as well. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go through any questions that we got here. Dominic, what's going on, man? Doing my cardio right now. Awesome. David Dickey, Tommy Chandler, Lily, Christian. Merry Christmas from Charlie. You saved me a bunch of money. Used to buy all those and EEAAs. So actually EEAAs, essential amino acids, I would recommend over BCAAs. So anytime that you guys potentially want to go on that route, then EEAAs are much more effective because they're only the ones that your body can't produce on its own, essential amino acids. So it has to get it from outside sources. So EEAAs are much better than BCAAs. Hate the stuff, beta alanine. Spencer, what's going on, man? Nick, David. All right, so that's pretty much it. We got one last question from David Dickey. Again, any last minute questions, drop them down below. David asks, what do you think about taking omegas? I could probably eat fish, but rarely do. Again, another supplement that kind of falls into, I didn't throw it in specifically because it kind of falls into that vitamin mineral bracket. But again, most people do not eat enough fish. So if you're not eating fish like twice a week minimum, then yes, I would recommend supplementing with omega-3s. Obviously, the healthiest form of fat that you can have, because most people, so obviously there's omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. Most people have the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 is so skewed towards omega-6 that it almost causes a massive like imbalance in their body, okay? Omega-6 is like extremely common. I think that the average kind of ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 in the American diet is 1 to 18. So for every 1 gram of omega-3 they get like 18 grams of omega-6, which obviously causes a massive imbalance in your body. So again, most people, yes, are deficient in omega-3s. Again, if your diet's on point, if you're eating a lot of, let's say, avocados or fish or nuts, then you probably are getting enough omega-3s. But if you're not, then I would definitely recommend, if you're not eating those foods, then yes, I would absolutely recommend getting an omega-3 in. Awesome for skin health, hair, nails, just general health and overall. So great question there, David. Any last minute questions, guys, drop them down below. If not, then we will end it here. And I guess, yeah, this is the final live stream of 2021. Obviously, we got Christmas next week. So we'll be taking the weekend off, obviously enjoying Christmas. And then the next Sunday after that will be into 2022. Crazy. Tommy Chandler, he asks, so net isolate much better than whey for bloating issues? Absolutely. So again, if you are someone that is sensitive to dairy or you have issues with kind of digesting dairy, absolutely would recommend isolate over whey because whey has much more dairy content than than isolate. Some isolate have like literally no dairy. Some are like very, very minimal just because it's a much leaner version of whey. So it's stripped down more, which eliminates a lot of that whey in that process. So I mostly have whey. Sometimes I'll throw in vegan. But again, I find with vegan, it's tough to find one that tastes good and that isn't like super clumpy. So for my kind of go-to is isolate. Look at it like as a spectrum. So you got whey, isolate, vegan. So isolate's kind of in the middle in terms of kind of bloating, ranking them from most bloated to least bloated. Daniel, what's going on, man? All right, guys, any more questions? Now's your last chance. Last live stream of the year. So give me all you got, guys. And then obviously, like I said earlier, we'll be announcing the winner of Nick. Actually, you're one of them. I was just looking at the weekly challenge this week. A couple of you guys, I think Lily, Nick, one other person in that challenge. You guys have logged over 100,000 steps this week in the last 6 days, which is absolutely insane. So really, really good job with that. We'll be obviously tallying those after this live stream. And obviously announcing the winner tonight, 8 p.m. PST as usual. And then we got the next live stream tomorrow morning. Cool, guys. So any last minute questions, drop them down below. Give you guys another 30 seconds or so. And who's all training today? Anyone training on this fine Sunday or taking a Sunday rest day? Lily's hiking right now. Wow. Hiking and watching the live stream. That's called commitment right there. Love it. That's awesome. All right, guys. Any last minute questions? I'll give you guys 10 more seconds. If nothing comes in, then we will end it here. And I'll be making that My Protein announcement tomorrow morning. So massive things coming there. And then obviously a lot of new content, new features in the Academy coming in the new year as well. So cool, guys. That's pretty much it. Aaron, just tuning in as we're kind of finishing off here. But obviously you guys watch the replay. And anyone watching the replay afterwards, guys, comment down below, hashtag replay if you do end up watching us on the replay, so I know who tuned in afterwards as well. So cool, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I know a little bit longer live stream. I will be tagging this in the live training section so you guys can reference this later down the line. This was a supplements 101 training. So again, if you don't want to watch the replay or want to have this kind of saved, it will be saved in the hashtag section of this community under the hashtag live training. So cool, guys. Hope everyone has a great rest of your Sunday. Hope everyone has an awesome Christmas and holidays. This, like I said, will be the last live stream of 2021, and we'll pick it up fresh, ready to go for 2022. So hope everyone has an awesome Christmas, awesome holidays, and spend it with your family. Enjoy it, and we'll see you here all in 2022. Peace out.